So I'm going to start off this video by stating and, well, admitting that yes, your boy is a Gen Zer. My age, the year I was born, falls into Generation Z. The dreaded, everybody is tied to, quote, that damn phone. For better or for worse, I am a Gen Zer. So, before you click off this video because you don't want to hear anything I say because you just now figured that out, let me start off by saying I'm an old school mind and a new school generation. If you haven't watched any of my videos before that, I promise you'll find that out very quickly. I can't sit here and say that I agree with everything that my generation does, but there is a lot of it that if you put some time and effort into walking a mile in their shoes, given everything, the bigger picture around us and, well, all of us, does make sense. Now, the other thing that I wanted to point out is the fact that I am not a Gen Zer that has more tattoos and piercings on their body than they do work hours clocked in among 10 different jobs. I don't believe in 103 different genders and you can identify yourself as seasons. Yeah, I would love to identify myself as a season because if I was to identify myself as one, it would totally be riding season. That was complete satire, by the way. I also think that was stupid. Okay, anyway, so I've been watching a lot of content creators that are my age, that are Gen Zers, and they make a lot of good points, but they all end up saying the same thing. Again, for better or for worse, is that Gen Z is the loneliest generation there is to date. Now, that's really hard to say or agree with for older people that are in past generations to say, well, they have smartphones, they have AI, they have 1,000,001 ways to connect to each other in the blink of an eye. How can they sit there and say that they are a lonely generation when they have all the tools to not be? And it kind of made me think, I'm like, you know, they bring up these problems or issues that all of us face, being that we're not as social anymore as far as going out in person, you know, disregarding the fact that we can talk to somebody online. It's different than meeting somebody in person and going out, having a drink, getting some food, going bowling, whatever the hell you want to do. But what I'm trying to say is that it's different from that, and it takes a lot more effort that we don't want to put in. For whatever reason that is, I can't speak on that personally because I like putting in the effort to go and meet new people, and it's so far so good. And if there's one thing that has helped me do that, it's riding. Now, you guys say that Gen Z is a lonely generation. Gen Z will agree that we are a lonely generation because it is fact. So with Gen Z saying that we are a very lonely generation, riding can do multiple things that I have figured out personally. Because if I haven't stated before, yes, I do battle the same battles that people in my generation do. I wake up, I go to work, I'm on a 9-to-5 routine to where I just barely make it at the end of the month. And I mean barely. We put in so much work to get very, very, very little outcome. Now, don't click off this video and think, oh, well, that guy, he's just a little whiny complainer. He's sad. He's got to go to work in the morning and blah, blah, blah. No, that's definitely not the case that I'm making. All I'm saying is that I fight the same battles that other people do in my generation. I just look at it in a different perspective. I'm thankful to have what I have and do what I do. It's just less is more in my life, and I figured that out the more I've gone on. So, Generation Z being so lonely, we also have pretty much no choice if things are going to continue the way they are, but to accept the loneliness factor. What do we have other than social media that's going to bring us together when we want to have somebody? You guys already know my answer, and that's riding. Riding has brought me to whole different perspectives and things, like I mentioned in my other video on how it changed my life, in different perspectives that I would have had no clue had even existed. And it can really do good for people of my generation, of Gen Zers. There are a lot of people past and present that can totally agree with me on that. And the fact that I bring up that we're probably just going to have to accept that we are the loneliest gen is that this sense of freedom completely covers and ignores the fact that I am alone. And I'm okay with that. That's the craziest thing, is that I'm okay with being alone. I'm okay with riding alone. Yes, riding in a pack is so much fun. It's so much cooler than riding alone. Yes, absolutely. But in the same sense, it's also really nice to have that solitude with being around other things and sometimes other people. The acknowledgement that you get just by simply throwing down the two and just passing by people and thinking, hey, you know, me and him have the same common interests. But you don't see that behind his phone screen or a computer monitor. You see that behind the bars with the world around you, that you guys are enjoying the exact same thing at the exact same time. And it's enthralling. It's such a great feeling, because you don't get that very often with how things are nowadays. And you can blame a ton of different people, a ton of different things. It's a combination of things that make things that the way they are nowadays. And some of it may be fact, some of it may be false. What we know is that we will never know that there is one pinpoint thing that makes things are the way that they are. But one thing that I can say is that riding takes me out of that generational curse. I've broken generational habits, not only within my family, but that's a story for another time, but within society's generation of the world. And this is worldwide. This isn't just an American thing. This is a statistically proven, research-studied thing that people my age and a little bit older are facing, and especially younger ones, God forbid. And it sucks, because a lot of the people that I hope I can reach out to and say, hey, riding can save you. It can take you out of that hole that you're in, that, you know, that grave, that burial plot that you're in, man. And a lot of them are going to comment on this video, probably something extremely snarky, which I'm hoping you avoid and just listen to my words that I say, and say that, well, I'd love to go out riding, I can't afford it. And that's okay. That's okay. There was once upon a time where I couldn't afford where I was at now. But thankfully, being a part of that 9-to-5 routine, that rigmarole, that curse, so to speak, put me where I'm at today. It's just knowing how to play your cards right with the hand that you're dealt. Obviously, everybody's hands are different. It's going to be different for everybody, from me to you. But the thing is, just being entry level and getting just so much as a glimpse of what is out there that riding can do for my generation, this generation, can be astronomical. It can be the missing piece. It might not even only be just riding as alone. It could be a lot of things. It could be a mixture of other things. When people were returning from Vietnam War, and everybody had the problems that they had, what was one thing that brought them all together, and it changed the entire world as a whole? Boom. Motorcycles, riding, the birth of motorcycle clubs. There was so much camaraderie, which is definitely missing in this generation, between all of us with a common interest that's gonna get us out and make people more happy, more lively. But it can be that missing piece that we need to have happen once again. That boom, all those years back then. But since we have a bigger picture, history won't be as doomed to repeat itself as far as the bad things go. Gen Z can be saved by motorcycles and riding. It can bring us together. It can have us be all at one place with a common interest, whether we are feet from each other, inches from each other, or miles apart. We don't just have to be on one side of a phone screen. You don't have to be watching just my videos and thinking, well, you know, I wish. You can make it happen. It's just the motivation that you need to get up and go do that every time. And I won't lie, there have been plenty of days where I'm at work and I'm like, God, I cannot wait for this day to be over. Why? So I can go riding. It sucks. Imagine having such a beautiful day outside of the four walls of your home and thinking, I have nothing for me out there. This changes that. It's crazy because it's one of those it's in your face kind of things, but nobody really knows. Nobody knows until you do it. Gen Z, I hope I didn't offend you guys. Other generations, I hope I didn't offend you guys, because I know that my views are not going to be the same as other people's, and that's completely fine. Everybody has an opinion. They're like assholes. Everybody has one, and you're entitled to it. Knock yourselves out. There are plenty of times where I have walked up to people my age and said, you know, that would be really cool if one day you got into riding and, you know, it would do a lot of good things for you like it did me. And their typical response is, I'm not going to play in traffic like some dumb, stupid son of a bitch like you because you're such a dumb, stupid idiot because you ride motorcycles. I'm Gen Z and I'm absolutely know everything about anybody and you can't tell me otherwise. Of course there's going to be those people in the comments, and if there are people that want to shred those people, you go right ahead. Gen Z, knock yourself out. You guys have at it. The comment section is your battleground, and while you guys go battle, I am going to go riding. So I love each and every one of you guys very much. If you guys like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and as always, be safe and ride free. Support your local veteran. I don't end my videos at a stop sign, so let me jump cut to where I'm riding. Jump cut over with, and as always, be safe and ride free, y'all. Peace out.